get into it, man. First, we saw 85 South Show's Netflix comedy special called Ghetto Legends. And we also watched a movie called Tetris about the game Tetris. We're going to talk about both of those, and we're going to be honest about it. That's coming up. You Kicking It with KC. Yeah, man. Scenes I saw in Corn Stream. Main TV shows and movie reviews on Kicking It with KC, man. So first one. 85 South had their first Netflix special, Ghetto Legends, on Netflix. No endorsement, obviously. Total runtime 1 hour. Real quick watch, if I'm being honest. So it's basically their YouTube show, but they put it on Netflix. Now, if you've ever watched 85 South Show YouTube, shows, when they're on tour, they go to different cities. It's Chico Bean, Karlous Miller, and DC Young Fly. They really do jokes. They crack on the audience. They do jokes on each other, play with props, play with music, a lot of different stuff. It's really just like a black people comedy, kick it session, get high, just watch funny people do funny stuff. That's really all it was. It wasn't like straight up stand-up comedy. So if that's what you're expecting, this is not that at all. With that being said, I want to be honest about my opinion, what I saw on this special. First and foremost, breaking down these three people, Karlous Miller, DC Young Fly, Chico Bean. First, I feel like Karlous Miller is the only one that is a solid comedian, a stand-up comedian. He's the only one that can do probably an hour set, 30 to 45 minutes, maybe an hour of solid, straight up, good material for a stand-up special. I believe that. Chico Bean is more like the mediator. He's always the chill, cool, try to get a message off, try to make sure I'm serious, and we try to have a serious tone here and there. That's Chico Bean. DC Young Fly, he's not a comedian to me, not a stand-up comedian. He does comedy. He's more of the physical comedy type of person. He's a roaster also. So he does outlandish stuff, pelvic thrusting and talking mess to the audience, outlandish stuff. But he's not a stand-up comedian. But I appreciate him for what he does. With that being said, like I said, it wasn't a stand-up comedy special. It was just like their normal YouTube special or episodes just brought on Netflix. So I appreciate it for that. As an 85 South fan or supporter, I will say. But this is also something that I want to mention. And I don't know if too many people actually see this or notice this, right? Now, watching 85 South episodes, either the podcast or when they're at different places, mainly the podcast on YouTube. When you watch that, over time, over the last couple years, you can see the tension that built up between Karlous and DC. It started, in my eyes, from the fact that Karlous probably gets a lot of people when he's out by himself, or maybe when all three of them is out. You see a lot of people probably run to DC or give him his shine, or they'll run up to Karlous when he alone and be like, "Hey Karlous, we love the 85 South Show. Where DC Young Fly at?" And he probably gets sick of saying that. And you know why I think that? Because he actually said that on the 85 South podcast. And not all that directly, but he says that. Pay attention. Then there's certain points in the episode, certain episodes where him and DC kind of get into it. He kind of checks DC in a way. Tell him, "Hold on, man, he's speaking." Or he be like, "No, that ain't true," or "You don't want to do that." Like, he does that often. Sometimes DC is snap back. Sometimes he keep the energy positive and ignore it, which I appreciate and understand also. Nonetheless, I feel like it's tension that brews. And you can see in some of the comedy specials and them being in different cities and doing they don't really have chemistry where they really like physically pause, like give that or show love to each other. It's a little, and this Netflix special, I say all that to say this Netflix special, DC Young Fly and Karlous Miller had some little subtle jabs at each other. Now, you would think it's just comedy, and it probably is. Maybe I'm just overthinking it, but I think that's tension over brewing that went into that childish mindset of them trying to insult each other in the public when friends are around. And by friends, I mean a larger audience via Netflix. So maybe I am reaching, but I saw the tension between Karlous Miller and DC Young Fly all throughout the podcast throughout the years. And I peeped it on the Netflix special also. Call me crazy though. Call me crazy. That's what I think though. But let me know what you think about 85 South. You know, besides that, for what it was as a supporter of the show, I'm happy they got a Netflix special. I just want to say that on record. I was very happy, even though I fell asleep halfway through this, and it was only an hour. But nonetheless, like I said, as a supporter, I'm happy they made it. I'm always happy at the moves they made. I even downloaded and subscribed to the Channel 85 app for about 2 months. Then I unsubscribed. But nonetheless, man, shout out to DC Young Fly, Chico Bean, Karlous Miller, and 85 South show on production. Let me know what you think about 85 South and Ghetto Legends as their Netflix special. Go off in the live chat in the comments or call into the show. 313-466-4386, man, switching it up to this last topic. In regards to scenes I saw, we saw Tetris, the movie about the game on Apple TV Plus, no endorsement. This was an hour, 57 minutes, just under 2 hours, based on the true story of American video game salesman Henk Rogers and his discovery of Tetris in 1988 from inventor Alexey Pajitnov, which the game was created in 85, but he discovered it in 88 from this Russian inventor. When he sets out to bring the game to the world, he enters a dangerous web of lies and corruption behind the Iron Curtain. Now, like I just mentioned, you have an American video game salesman and then a Russian inventor who invented Tetris. Now, according to history, according to this movie, they didn't do video games in Russia in the 80s during that time. And the video game industry didn't exist. I don't know if it does now, but it didn't then. And they were the Soviet Union, so they wasn't playing that. But the point is, this man, this American salesman, Henk Rogers, found out about Tetris through, some convention or something like that, somebody else, and wanted to find the inventor to team up with him to bring it to the world. So he goes over to Russia against the visa, like against government. Now, I don't know how true that was. They like to dramatize or make everything dramatic and theatrical for the movies. Nonetheless, he went over there against orders, tried to convince that he had ownership in Tetris in Japan, but turns out it turned out to be a bunch of people who were literally just scamming people behind their back. I mean, everybody just doing deals behind each other's back, like stabbing people. I mean, it's basically a typical rich empire scheme type of thing. It's the same plot. Everybody stabbing somebody behind the back to get rich. But to sum it all up, long story short, the movie was about as boring as the game is, especially now. Maybe if you grew up in that era when it first came out, this would be interesting to you. But for somebody who really didn't play Tetris, and I wasn't around during that time, I was, born around somewhere around that time, close to it, I should say, but not for real. So Tetris wasn't necessarily my thing. So this movie was mid. It was interesting only because it explains the history of a game that we all play and has had. But at the same time, it's Tetris, bro. It's Tetris. Niggas are playing Call of Duty now. I mean, seriously. So, nonetheless, I might recommend it. But not for real. Not for real. I'm not recommending Tetris. I'm not recommending. But I recommend Ghetto Legends. But let me know what you think about Tetris. Go off in the live chat in the comments or call into the show. As a video game and as a movie, if you did see it. Go off in the live chat in the comments or call into the show. 313-466-4386, man. We about to get up out of here. Before we do that, I need you to do me a favor. Appreciate you for kicking with KCMC. If you got this far in the show, if you got a couple dollars, donate to the show so we can grow. We got the Cash App right there. And also, before we get up out of here, of course, you got to follow us on all social media. It's right there. Kick it with KCMC on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, all that. It's at KIWKCMC. That's Kick It with KCMC, just the abbreviations. Yeah, follow me everywhere. And show some love to my sponsor, man, Team Elite. They on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Team Elite 313. That's TEAMELITE 313. And check out their premium urban-based athleisure wear. That's athletic leisure wear. T-shirts, sweatshirts, tech fleece jogger sets, varsity sets, and more. It's all on their website, teamelite313.com. Ask your mom, baby. Appreciate you for kicking with KCMC, getting this far in the video. Make sure you hit that like button. Please and thank you. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the alert so you know when we go on live button. And tell a friend to tell a friend. So make sure you share that thing, man. Hey, shout out to my TV people, my movie people. Kicking with KC on this episode. Corn stream scenes I saw. So check this out. If you got any other movies, TV shows you think we should do a corn stream on, or we should do a review on, go off in the live chat in the comments. Let us know. Also, make sure you let us know what you thought about those projects. Besides that, we get at you later. We out.